Исламское государство нацеливается на господство в исламском мире. И не только там. Только этими планами явно не ограничиваются.
Was something that raised serious questions. That was US Secretary of State John Kerry's opinion of Russia's deployment of fighter jets to Syria. A few days later, he's calling Russian airstrikes an opportunity.
I think it's an opportunity for us to force this question of how you actually resolve the question of Syria.
All over the West, there appears to be an emerging consensus. Russia and Iran are the key to any solution in Syria.
We are prepared to work with all countries, including Russia and Iran, to find a political mechanism in which it is possible to begin a transition process.
Even Assad's immediate departure seemed negotiable, both for the US and its European allies.
He'll help manage Syria out of this mess and then go off into the sunset.
We have not set our position as being so ideologically pure about the need for Assad to go that we wouldn't be prepared to discuss with the Russians, Iranians and others how some kind of short transition under international supervision couldn't take place.
Yet the US was quick to change its tune again.
The United States supports any genuine effort to fight ISIL, but we must not and will not be confused in our fight against ISIL with support for Assad.
The Russian approach here is doomed to fail. The result of this kind of action will inevitably simply be to inflame the civil war in Syria. This is not the kind of behavior that we should expect professionally from the Russian military professionally.
Analysts detect a keenly felt loss of supremacy from the US, no longer the only birds in the sky.
The U.S. believes it should run the world, and nobody should be able to do anything without U.S. blessing. The U.S. has got its planes, and it's got its many other military assets in Syria and around Syria. That's why it will always be critical.
With such swift changes of opinion in Washington, it's proving difficult to ascertain what America's priority is, to topple Assad or to combat terrorism. Laura Smith, RT.
Well, here's some latest information that we're getting off the wires here in RT International. According to Syrian ambassador to Russia, he says that the Russian Air Force coordinates its activity with the Syrian army on the ground. And also the information that we're getting from the wires here is that President Putin hopes that a mechanism will be created for joint coordination of efforts between Russia and the U.S. Now, political and media advisor to the Syrian president, Hossein Shaban, says those who've long been intervening in Syria have had their policies wrong from the start.
You know, I really would love the West to review all their policy in Syria. The problem right from the beginning was not Assad, and the target was not Assad. Just as Libya is destroyed now, and they were talking about Gaddafi, and Iraq is destroyed, and they were talking about Saddam Hussein or about mass destruction weapon. These concepts, if you want, floated in the media. They are only used in order to destroy our countries, in order to destroy our civilization, in order to destroy our people. I really believe that the West should wake up and see what's happening on the ground.
Исламское государство нацеливается на господство в исламском мире. И не только там. Только этими планами явно не ограничиваются.
Now, the Western media immediately rushed to accusations claiming Russia was bombing anti-ISIL forces and hitting civilians, although the Pentagon was more cautious.
The U.S. Defense Secretary says the strikes actually hit areas held by moderate rebels.
Again, I want to be careful about confirming information, but it does appear that they were in areas where there probably were not ISIL forces.
Now, this video was reportedly shot inside a hospital near the Syrian city of Homs, but CNN cannot confirm its authenticity. The man behind the camera blames Russian warplanes for what he calls a massacre.
I think you're asking about the possibility that the Russian airstrikes may have hit civilians. I cannot confirm that.
What I cannot believe is how venerated news organizations, how they are abnegating and completely turning their backs on their duty and not understanding that today you don't have to infiltrate media conglomerates like Operation Mockingbird we speak of here in this country. All you have to do is set up a phony Twitter account and have one person, one line producer refer to it, and it's off. That's it. No validation, no accreditation, no authentication.
Now, it's only been a day since Russia launched air raids against ISIL terrorists, but the media machine against Moscow's operation has quickly got up to speed. RT's Ganich Chikyan reports.
Russia begins airstrikes against ISIL in Syria, and almost instantly we have a stream of unconfirmed reports, images and footage coming in. There's this group said to be funded by American billionaire George Soros called White Helmets, and it's one of the largest NGOs operating in Syria. The organization has published a photo on its Twitter account depicting a bleeding girl claiming Russia strike in Homs today, 33 civilians killed, including 3 children. Twitter users quickly responded that the photo of the wounded girl was actually taken on September 25th of this year. And that is 5 days before the Russian airstrike. The photo was posted by an account called Syrian Network, and it reads, image of a girl wounded in government warplane missiles fired on Al-Rastam in Homs, and the date. But this group, White Helmets, presented it as an aftermath of a strike by Russia. The organization has posted other images as well. The fact is that there's now a whole group of countries carrying out airstrikes in Syria. It is becoming increasingly difficult to figure who targeted what and where. This video was posted on YouTube with captions in Arabic, which reads, injured child as a result of Russian raids. There was a Reuters report on the same day about Syrian army airstrikes in the same area where the footage of the injured boy was reportedly taken. At this point, when the forces that are fighting ISIL are so divided, it becomes that much easier for some to spin the images in whatever direction they want.
The problem is that people are very ideological when it comes to the Syria campaign, and that distorts their reporting.
It's not unusual for news channels to take video from online sources. It usually comes with something like this.
We cannot confirm what's happened. We have footage that we will show you, but we cannot verify what's happened.
Video Reuters cannot independently verify reports to show an airstrike allegedly by Syrian government forces.
Rebel sources posted video on the internet, which they said showed the scene of the attacks, videos which we can't verify.
Either inadvertently or on purpose, the media on a number of occasions have talked about one thing while showing something else, like the time when the BBC used a picture taken in Iraq in 2003 to illustrate a massacre in Syria. Right now, with a number of countries carrying out operations in Syria simultaneously, the source of an image or a video becomes critical because one image can tell different stories. In Washington, I'm Ganich Chikyan, RT.
In fact, the Russian move to unite forces against the threat of Islamic State has won wide support from a number of countries.
If this is part of international action against ISIL and that appalling terrorist death cult outfit, then that is all to the good.
Russia has just submitted an outline of a resolution to the Security Council. I say to all parties and partners who wish to join our action, they're welcome.
More than 50 aircraft are taking part in Russia's mission in Syria. Over 20 flights were conducted both yesterday and during the night, destroying Islamic State headquarters, command centres and ammunition depots. All the strikes were coordinated in conjunction with Syrian army intelligence, Russian satellites, as well as drone footage as well. The airstrikes are being carried out strictly in areas where there are no civilians.